Coming up on the 2014 FIFA World Cup magazine, Brasilia's impressive Estadio Nacional. We're in Rio, where times are changing in the city's favelas. And we meet Luis Fabiano, a star of the Seleção, who's keen on a comeback. But we begin in Saitama, where Japan were aiming to become the first nation to qualify for the 2014 FIFA World Cup, when they hosted Australia. And they would have been ahead before half-time had it not been for the brilliance of Mark Schwarzer in the visitors' goal. Australia had won just one of their 5 previous qualifying games, but with 8 minutes remaining, Tommy Orr gave them real hope of closing the gap on their hosts at the top of Asia's Group B. Was it a cross or was it a shot? Either way, Japan's goalkeeper, Eiji Kawashima, will feel he should have done better. Into injury time, and Japan's hopes of sealing their berth in Brazil appeared to have been dashed until Matt Mackay was adjudged to have handled the ball late on. Up stepped Keisuke Honda to smash in the equaliser, and the 1-1 scoreline ensured that Japan will be in South America next year for the 20th FIFA World Cup. In Asia's other qualifying group, Lebanon in red entertained Korea Republic, who are looking to qualify for an 8th successive FIFA World Cup. Those ambitions were dealt a blow just 12 minutes in, when Hassan Matouk gave the home side the lead. For Lebanon, who began the game bottom of the group, it was the ideal start to a match they had to win. The visitors created a number of chances against a nation they've fared well against of late, but they were denied by the woodwork on several occasions. 7 minutes into injury time, though, Kim Chi-woo's deflected free kick saved Korea Republic's blushes, and the point lifted them to the top of Group A with just 2 games remaining. In South America, Chile were rewarded for fielding an attacking lineup as they secured an important victory away to struggling Paraguay. Eduardo Vargas's spectacular effort opened the scoring for La Roja. With Argentina and Colombia playing out a goalless draw in Buenos Aires and second-placed Ecuador losing 1-0 in Peru, Chile, who were dominant throughout, made the most of their opportunity to close the gap on the leaders in the 9-team group. The visitors doubled their lead in the 54th minute when Arturo Vidal played a 1-2 with Alexis Sanchez, who chipped the ball over Paraguay's defence for the midfielder to score. As for Chile, they're in the 4th and final automatic qualifying spot, 2 points clear of Venezuela with 4 games to play. Rocky Santa Cruz's record-breaking 26th goal for Paraguay was scant consolation for the hosts, who still sit bottom of the table. Finally to Europe, where Portugal entertained Russia in a heavyweight clash at the top of Group F. The game was just 9 minutes old when Miguel Veloso's free kick was turned in by veteran striker Helder Postiga. Russia failed to reach the finals in both 2006 and 2010. But they were top of the group with a 100% record coming into this game, under the new management of Fabio Capello. Chances came and went for the visitors. Vladimir Bistrov with a spectacular effort. A late chance for Cristiano Ronaldo was saved, but 1-0 was enough to take Portugal to the top of the group, 2 points clear of Russia, but having played 2 games more. Back to Saitama, and congratulations to Alberto Zaccheroni and Japan, the first nation to qualify for Brazil. And that's where they're heading now for the FIFA Confederations Cup, where they'll contest the tournament's opening game in the federal capital, Brasilia.
The Mané Garrincha Stadium is very important for Brasilia because apart from the World Cup, which is a worldwide event, It will always bring a lot of attention to our capital. I see it as an attraction, just like the ministries, the Congress, and even the cathedral behind me. There'll be one more attraction for tourists to enjoy.
As a Brasiliense, I think it's been very good because it's opened doors and given jobs to people that really needed them. As every Brazilian loves football, I think people have welcomed having a new stadium in our city. And it's looking beautiful, very beautiful indeed.
The Mané Garrincha is the only stadium in the whole of Brazil to be totally green, totally ecological. It's a very large stadium, monumental even, and it was designed by the architect Eduardo Castro Melo, who helped his father design the old stadium. And now his son is helping him design this new stadium.
It's a lovely story. What was nice was the fact that I worked with my father on the old stadium project, which was a completely different arena in its design, because it was an Olympic stadium with an athletics track. Now, destiny, shall we say, has dictated that I should work with my son, Vicente, and I've been able to bring some of my previous knowledge to bear, whilst having the opportunity to design something new together.
The main challenge with this project was to try and convince people about one or two new ideas, the new concepts that we were bringing to this football stadium. We tried to design a piece of architecture which was focused on the environment and aimed for it to be one of the most sustainable stadiums ever designed. An arena that would serve as an example for stadiums that will be built in the future. This was a great challenge, and still is a challenge, because as chief architects, we can't just design for the present. We're always thinking about the next 50 years. And this will always be questioned by the majority of people, because the ideas we design for the future can be seen as too visionary by many people, and we get a lot of criticism for that.
We had a complex problem because we were building a stadium of huge dimensions here on the monumental axis of Brasilia, which is one of the most important parts of the city. I couldn't design a piece of architecture that would break the harmony of the other buildings.
We hope, in fact we're sure, that in the future, in 30 years' time, people will say, wow, it's great that they thought of doing that.
An indicator for me here in Brasilia has always been my conversations with taxi drivers. When I arrive at the airport, I ask the driver as we head towards the stadium what he thinks of it. What's his opinion? If this construction was good for the city or not. I felt at the beginning there was a lot of doubt because they didn't know much about it. But now they talk about it with great pride.
It's incredible. It's very big. How's it possible? These are questions I'm asked, and I see them as a good thing, because all art must be questioned. If we question it, it's because the art moves us. It's having an effect, and this is very good, because the majority of questions are in fact positive.
The world will get its first glimpse of the 70,000 capacity Estadio Nacional on June 15th, when Brazil hosts Japan in the opening fixture of the FIFA Confederations Cup. It's quite an honour for the city, but then it is quite a stadium. In April last year, Pele took to the skies to be the icing on a very special birthday cake for a very special club. The three-time FIFA World Cup winner was heading home to the Vila Belmiro to help Santos celebrate its centenary. The great man spent the best part of 2 decades at Santos, during which time the club flourished domestically and internationally. They won the Copa Libertadores in 1962 and 63, and Pele got his hands on the trophy once again on this special day following Santos' third success in 2011. He was joined for the celebrations by club favourites past and present, all of whom have helped Santos become the institution it is today.
Santos won many trophies over the years, and in doing so, not only grew as a club, but also played a style of football which pleased many people. Santos won many titles in the state and national leagues, and gained a lot of fans. Though it's still a club from Santos, most of the supporters are from outside the city. Santos has a population of around 400,000, and the club is still part of the community, part of the city, but has a very large representation outside Santos.
Based in a city by the same name on Brazil's Atlantic coast, Santos boasts an impressive collection of silverware. They've 20 state titles, 8 national championships and 9 international trophies to their name. A haul that's established them as one of Brazil's most successful clubs. And they've earned that status, playing an attractive brand of football.
When a club celebrates its centenary, there's always a will from everyone to win titles, because it's important for the club. And since the best player in the world played here, the player of the century, our Pele, the essence of Santos is the beautiful game. A style of football that's attacking and entertaining. These are Santos's characteristics. It's always been like that, and that's why Santos has won titles for many years, always playing entertaining football, because this is what Santos fans like.
This year, though, trophies have been harder to come by. The football has been good, of course, with Neymar pulling the strings. But even he couldn't help Santos clinch the Campeonato Paulista, Sao Paulo's state championship. And if that was disappointing for the Santos faithful, so too was the news that Neymar had finally signed for Barcelona.
Every time we form a good team, we have to dismantle it, because our players become so valuable. So there's a price to pay for our success, because our players become so visible. European clubs come and sign them, and it's impossible for us to keep a player here for a long time.
The big European clubs, and today there are even rich clubs from other parts of the world, look to sign players from Brazil and other South American countries. They make offers that can't be refused, because this also plays on the player's mind. Santos does not intend to get rid of or sell any of its big stars, but it understands that in some situations the sale is unavoidable. But it's not our vocation. We're not that kind of club. We're not a selling club. We kept hold of Pele throughout his career, and we have generations of players who stayed. Renowned players who have made history with Santos.
News of Neymar's departure was soon followed by the sacking of coach Mauricio Ramalho after back-to-back defeats at the start of the national championship. These are tough times for Santos, but as history has proved, they always bounce back. Brazil has produced many great footballers down the years, but who's your favourite? Here to tell us about his is a two-time winner of the FIFA Confederations Cup.
My favourite Brazilian player? Well, there have been a few pretty good players, haven't there? But if I have to choose one player, I think it would be Ronaldo. Simply because he's one of the best attackers that you could ever wish to see. Definitely in European football and right around the world too. He was such a spectacular player. He ran so quickly with the ball, he dribbled with it all the time. I remember the movement of his legs put defenders in so much difficulty. And then in front of goal, he was so at ease and uncomplicated when it came to having a shot. So for me, he's the best, of those I've seen for myself anyway. Otherwise, you could pick out someone like Pele. But I haven't seen much of him. So Ronaldo remains the #1 for me.
Rio de Janeiro, a city of contrasting fortunes for its vast population. Until recently, here in the hilltops, the many tourists who flock to visit Rio's traditional sites were rarely seen. But today, with many favelas more structured than they once were, tour guides are common and visitors are more frequently seen.
20% of Rio's population live in favelas. It's a considerable number of people that we cannot ignore. They're a part of Rio, just like those people who live in Ipanema, Copacabana or elsewhere. To understand Rio, you must understand every side of it. In Rio, all communities are very close. The favelas are right behind the richer neighborhoods, on mountains or hilltops. So they're very close in terms of distance, yet very far apart as far as cultural differences are concerned.
Worry about the image much more than the content.
The reality of the favelas in Rio has changed a lot over the last 2 decades. During this period it became more violent at first, and then, more recently, more peaceful. Over the last 3 years, life is more peaceful in areas where the police have occupied territories to regain spaces that have been lost to the parallel powers, to crime or to drug trafficking. The process of pacification began 3.5 years ago, one favela at a time. There are now 26 pacified favelas that were once considered very dangerous. Drug dealers dominated those areas, but they are no longer there. The police are there permanently, having reclaimed a public space that had been neglected for a long period. The government is reclaiming that land. It's not just a process of pacification. It's also a question of citizenship, public services, infrastructure, and overall improvements. I think it also improves the self-esteem of the community itself, of the people who live in the favela. The positive point for future generations, for children who grow up there, is to see that today, the reference for the community, the person that dominates the community, is no longer the figure of a drug dealer, drugged up and using his machine gun. It's now a government employee who has a uniform, who has his name written on that uniform, and who is offering some security. I'm sure that for future generations, as a reference to the kids and to all children, this has a value that cannot be measured. The Parity School has been running here for the past 17 years and is funded by a group of Italian individuals who formed an NGO. We have supported them as we feel that their selfless work can only be helping the members of our community in a positive way. The bulk of our support for this educational project is financial. And after all, education is the only way out of poverty. We must make the most of this short moment in time that the World Cup has offered us to do what needs to be done. I don't know if it will be done or not, in the right way or not, but the moment is now. And we're trying, and it's not just the favelas. The whole city of Rio de Janeiro is on a path to improvement. I hope this approach can be continued, not only until the World Cup, but afterwards too, by becoming more integrated with international standards, so we can become a more developed city.
The Confederations Cup is a very important pre-World Cup competition. It serves as preparation for the World Cup and lets you see what shape you're in for the tournament.
For Luis Fabiano, the FIFA Confederations Cup will always have a special place in his heart. In '09 in South Africa, the 28-year-old finally arrived as an international striker, scoring 3 goals in the group stage, the first against Egypt and then 2 against Italy. The Seleção cruised into the semi-finals, where they would defeat the hosts to set up a showdown with the United States.
The United States surprised everyone. They beat Spain in the semi-finals, and at the start of the final, they took a 2-0 lead against Brazil in the first half. It was a tough game. It was complicated. We didn't expect to end the first half 2-0 down, but we knew our potential. We knew that if we all managed to play well, we would win the game. We would be able to turn it round. And that's what happened in the second half. We managed to overturn the deficit and win the Confederations Cup.
And Brazil were helped in no small measure by 2 goals from Luis Fabiano.
Those 2 goals confirm me as the leading scorer at the Confederations Cup and its second best player. It was very important for me to score 2 goals in the final, both to boost my confidence and to show that I was able to play in a World Cup. And I think that was when people began to believe more in me as a footballer.
Luis Fabiano scored 3 times on his return to South Africa for the 2010 FIFA World Cup, but Brazil were eliminated at the quarter-final stage. 3 years on, the 32-year-old has returned from playing his club football in Europe and is currently enjoying his second spell with Sao Paulo. He's had the occasional call-up for the national team, but is out of the picture for the Confederations Cup.
I still dream of playing for the national team again. I think that today it's a little way off, but I would like to play in another World Cup before ending my career. I would like another opportunity. And I'll fight for it because things are going well here with Sao Paulo. I just need to play a longer sequence of games. I need to play several games in a row. I need to be 100% fit, and I think that if I carry on doing what I've been doing in recent games here, then an opportunity will come for me to wear the Brazilian national team shirt once again.
In the build-up to the FIFA Confederations Cup, Brazil has become something of a second home for Jerome Valcke. FIFA's Secretary-General has crisscrossed this vast country in recent months, observing the ongoing preparations for the Festival of Champions and for the FIFA World Cup. And having witnessed some of the test events, including Brazil's recent friendly with England at the Maracanã, he's delighted that football is again taking centre stage as the countdown continues to the 20th FIFA World Cup.
I know that it will not be perfect for the Confederations Cup, but I think that's also the idea of the Confederations Cup. We will have top teams. It will be, as we say, a festival of champions, but still the Confederations Cup is a rehearsal for the World Cup, and I think that it's key that we are learning both in Brazil and FIFA on what is missing for the Confederations Cup to be ready for the World Cup 1 year later. I think that the World Cup is used in Brazil to develop a number of infrastructure, wherever it is about stadiums, as all what a country needs to facilitate the life of people in the different cities. But World Cup and the organization of World Cup is more than just the event itself. I mean, the World Cup is also about a number of programs, social programs, development programs we have in the region, corporate social responsibility, about legacy, about sustainability. So all of these is part of the organization of the World Cup, and I have to say that we are doing quite well. I think that football is just a religion in Brazil. I mean, they are the one who have won they have played all the final stage of the World Cup. They have won 5 times the World Cup. So it means that the relationship between Brazil and football is just a unique one. It was an amazing time in South Africa. It was an amazing time in Germany. It will be a unique time in Brazil because, again, I mean, it will be a samba, bossa nova. It will be all what Brazil brings with music and culture to football.
So the stage is set, the teams, the fans and the stadia are ready. Let the Festival of Champions begin. Next time, we'll tell the story of how the 2013 FIFA Confederations Cup was won. We'll visit Rio's new control centre and find out more about its role as a communications hub. And we'll also report from the other host cities, playing their part in the tournament. Until then, goodbye.